Okay, episode 3. This is after 3 weeks. Didn't have a video last week. Got a couple of additions. Subtraction we'll go through. Start with the subtraction. We lost the shrimp about the second day after we added them. Not really sure what happened. All the water parameters were fine and everything, and a local fish store actually ended up giving me a refund for the guy. I think maybe just there wasn't enough algae for him to eat in the tank yet. In between that period, he kind of died back here in the back corner, and so what I ended up doing was moving some of this rock around, which is probably the biggest mistake I've made thus far, because as soon as I moved some of this rock, stirred up all the sand, and I got a spike in my nitrites. They had been kind of sitting 0 for about a week and a half, and then all of a sudden they spiked up to about 0.5. I had the devil of a time trying to get them to move from 0.5 back to 0.25 for about another week and a half, until probably about last Tuesday. I eventually bought some nitrifying bacteria to pour in there that ended up working. I'll put a link to what I used to eventually get the nitrites back in tune. And then once I was able to get those back in check, we bought ourselves a couple of corals on Friday, so 2 days ago. So we bought a couple of these zoas here. As you can see, they're still a little ticked off and have been closed up most of the weekend, haven't quite opened up yet. About the time they do start opening up, one of the snails jumps over, messes with them, and they close back up. Also got a neon green singulara here. It seems to be doing pretty dang awesome. Looks really, really great when you turn the blue lights on. Fortunately, the exposure doesn't work so great on my camera. And we also got ourselves over here an acan. It's probably been the one that's done the best thus far. It also looks really great when the blue lights are off. I eventually intend to put it right about there. You can see where the crabs up on the ledge is sitting. Fortunately, the snails keep messing with it and knocking it down off the ledge. I also bought, when I bought the corals, a new power head here. It's the Sissy Voyager Nano 2000. I'll drop a link to that as well. Other than that, pH has been sitting close to about 8.0, so we're working on a couple of different things to try to raise that up to the 8.2 or 8.3 that I've read is better for the corals. So far so good. I did read on one of your posts that 3 clownfish is eventually going to be a problem. Stuck to my local fish store about that as well, and they've agreed to take one of these guys back. So in the next week or so, we're going to drop back to just 2 of these guys instead of 3. It's kind of a little bit upsetting, but pretty universally what I found is if you've got 3, 2 of them will mate up and then pick off the third one. So right now these guys are just juveniles, brother and sisters, so they're not going to really, they've been playing nicely thus far, but as they get older, just don't want to cause any sort of problems in the tank. Other than that, had a little algae that kind of forms on the glass here, so we bought ourselves a scrubber there. We give it a good scrub once a morning. Other than that, using referoids for the corals. We'll see how they grow. I eventually do intend to trim this frag plug down when we find where this guy wants to go. But until then, just gonna keep it as it is. Let these guys get acclimated. Once they get acclimated, then we'll find their final home for them. Hopefully we can do another video next week. Update you on the growth of everything. Thanks.